I really don't like talking about it. You know exactly what I mean. The thing without eyes, yet can still see you. The thing that is always watching no matter how safe you think you are. I met him once. He's still around, hiding in the shadows, the trees around my house at night, between the alleys I pass on the way to work. But I suppose, if you're really interested, I could tell you. I'm not going to feed you that generic creepypasta line of, please believe me, this is totally real. This was what happened to me and not you. Belief is not necessary. It happened as I had been walking to work. It had been a beautiful summer day. Clear blue sky, birds chirping, comfortably warm with a faint breeze strong enough to only move tree leaves. I had my iPod in, blaring some pop song I've heard on the radio one too many times. You know, that song that gets annoyingly catchy after a while. I had my eyes closed, humming along to the song. Everything began to feel chilly and cold. Something caught my foot and I landed on soft moss, waiting for the impact of concrete. Something wet soaked through my dress pants. Wait, moss? Wetness? I opened my eyes quickly, having to wait for a brief moment to adjust to the dim lighting. I was in some wooded area. Some dim, foggy wooded area. I know I hadn't taken a wrong turn. I live in the city. There's no woods or forest around for miles. There's not even an unplanned tree planted anywhere in this city. I stood myself up, squinting in intent to see anywhere ahead of me through the fog. My iPod began shrieking. I tore the headphones out and thrust the object away from myself. The screeching sound of static wouldn't cease. I looked for a way out of the woods. The static started to give me a headache. All there seemed to be was fog, and more fog. I took a few steps forward, unsure of where to go. I stumbled around for a long time. I seemed to be going nowhere. I passed the same tree over and over. The same tree with the same hole, the same lower bark gash. I looked around briefly. A figure caught my eye. A tall, impossibly tall figure. Pale, sickly pale. As if it hasn't seen daylight in years. As if it lived in these dark, foggy, sunless woods. I had to look away from him. I felt immediate fear. I couldn't keep looking at him. My eyes and body refused it. It was as if my body was controlling itself. It was moving on its own, away from this creature. I kept on through the woods, the fog growing thicker, the woods growing darker. My foot kicked something. A flashlight? Odd. I picked it up anyway, something useful in case that white thing decided to attack me. The woods were getting darker now. Still unable to find my way out, it was getting harder to see, so I flicked on the flashlight. A strong beam of yellow light shot out, a working flashlight in the middle of a strange wood. Even odder, but I won't question it. I moved the beam around. Surely enough, the same tree with the same hole, the same gash. What the hell is happening? I shook my head. This was getting to be fucking nuts. I heard the static again. I looked around for where it could be coming from. Couldn't find anything. Not even my defected iPod. I whipped the light around. A white slip of paper was stapled to a tree. That's new. I ripped it from the bark. It was written quickly and read, "Help me," with a squiggle at the bottom. Must be some kids playing a prank. I tried to discard the paper, but my hand would not allow me. My fist would not uncurl around the paper. I folded it up and placed it inside my jacket pocket. What harm could it do anyway? I lifted the flashlight up. Sure enough, a few trees down, another white sheet. I ran toward it. I ripped this one off fairly quickly, tearing off a corner. This one had a strange drawn man. No facial expression, bald, pale, skinny. It had no written all over the paper. That figure looked a lot like the thing I saw. My heart sped up. I didn't want to run into this thing again. I folded the paper up and put it with the other one. My hand shook as I held the flashlight. I lit the trees up. I caught the glimpse of the tall creature again. He was closer than before. I walked faster. He seemed to keep pace with me perfectly, never gaining speed, never losing it. I took a sharp turn, successfully losing him. I checked my watch. It stopped working. There wasn't even a tick of the moving hour and minute hand. I feel as though it's been night longer than it should have. I've collected 3 other notes. One has the strange figure surrounded by trees. The other 2 are worded, "Can't run" and "Don't look" or "It takes you." Both look written quickly. I'm tired and out of breath, but my body will not allow me to quit moving. My feet were aching, my legs burned, my throat was raw from the heavy breathing. I tried to stop myself, clung to a tree, but my body began to feel flightly and heavy if I stopped. There seemed to be no sign of daylight, a perpetual darkness in a strange forest. The flashlight began to flicker. The batteries must be dying. I slammed it against my hand, drawing the flashlight to life. It flickered briefly, and the light came back as strong as ever. Another note. A strange tree, and leave me alone. In the same thick, black, hurried writing. Fear subsided to anger. I've been wandering around for hours in a circle, seeing things and being pranked by idiotic children. That had to be it. Then my flashlight flicked out, submerging me into complete darkness. Okay, maybe I was a little scared. I slammed it hard and quickly against my still-moving leg. That'll be a bruise tomorrow. In front of me, he stood there, taller than I previously thought. Extremely pale skin, not even the slightest impression of facial features, and I was walking straight toward him. I forced my body awake, forced myself to regain control. I hurled my body back, running in the opposite direction. I hurt so badly. My body was so exhausted. I could still feel him behind me, feel the blank face watching me. I tripped. My body hit the ground hard. Every breath I took burned my body. My arms, legs, chest, and back seared with the pain of too much movement. I couldn't get my body to cooperate again. It hurt too much. He's going to get me. I'm going to die here. Something's hot, like burning metal. Pink poked my back. A warm moistness trickled down around me. I didn't even care. Everything hurt too badly to do anything. My eyes flickered shut, encasing the black around me. It was bright. Impossibly bright. Did daylight finally reach the woods? There was a beeping, murmuring, the sharp smell of disinfectant. I opened my eyes. A hospital room? Right as I tried sitting up, grimacing at the massive pain in my upper torso, a doctor walked in. "You shouldn't be sitting up. You'll tear your stitches." Stitches? "You were brought in last week. Someone brought you. A report was filed. We had to subdue you with strong tranquilizers." Tranquilizers? Why? "You were impossible to get to lay down. We had to drug you in order just to stitch you up. Any longer and you would have bled to death." My hand instantly went to the stitches on my chest. I felt my back as well. The place where I felt the burning and wetness. Had the weird creature stabbed me? No, that couldn't be it. It was all a bunch of stupid kids. A prank. A week later, I was released from the hospital. I tried to return to my normal daily life, going to work, going to see movies, sleeping. The days slipped by, weeks went by slowly. Finally, 3 months. I lost it all. Everywhere I went, the slim white creature followed me. He stood in the corners of movie theaters watching me, stayed in the alleys I passed, watching me, hovered over me as I slept, watching me. I quit eating, I lost weight. I almost resembled the being. I tried to ignore him. I tried my hardest. He made it impossible. Just as I was about to completely lose it, he disappeared. Feeling of the eyes just went away. I forgot all about him. And then you showed up, asking about my story, reminding me of him. There he is. Right behind you. No, don't look. you'll end up like me, plagued by him. That would be a shame.